He was riding the elevator when he noticed something that chilled him to the bone. The brat standing next to him had her hand right on the emergency brake switch. Panic immediately set in. He started shaking uncontrollably, and his breathing turned into frantic gasps. Seeing this, the little girl turned to her grandfather and curiously asked what was wrong with the guy. The old man looked down and explained to his granddaughter that the man suffered from severe claustrophobia, and being trapped in a tight space for too long caused him to panic and lose his breath for no reason. Instead of showing empathy, a wicked idea popped into the girl's head. After glancing at the shaking, curly-haired guy next to her, she didn't hesitate for a second. She reached straight for the emergency brake switch. The curly-haired guy went pale with fear at the sight of this, but before he could even utter a word to stop her, the girl slammed the switch down. Just like that, the elevator ground to a screeching halt, trapped on the 49th floor.
She just pressed the stop button.
It was an accident, Grandpa.
It was an accident.
She did it on purpose. She was looking right at me and then she pressed it.
You're lying.
I saw you.
Liar.
Evil little bitch.
Whoa.
I know what I saw.
Mr. Axelrod, you're fired.
Fine. I don't give a fuck. Just get me out of here. Just let me take the stairs.
As it turned out, the old man was the CEO of the company, and everyone else in the elevator was on his payroll. But when he tried to get the elevator moving again, it wouldn't budge no matter how many times he mashed the buttons. Left with no choice, the old man hit the emergency call button and lied to the staff on duty, claiming someone had accidentally hit the brake switch, leaving them stuck on the 49th floor, and demanded they send a maintenance crew immediately. However, the dispatcher told him that the emergency brake was designed to prevent the elevator from free falling, and forcing it like that had caused a mechanical failure. Their hands were tied. All they could do was wait for the fire department to bail them out. To keep the crowd from turning into an angry mob, the old man had no choice but to apologize to everyone on behalf of his granddaughter. Given his status as the big boss, the passengers were furious but too intimidated to speak up. They could only force fake smiles and say it was no big deal. One kiss-up even started brown-nosed on the spot, saying that mischievous kids grow up to be successful, and even handed the girl some snacks as if rewarding her terrible behavior. The curly-haired guy scoffed at the sight of this. At that moment, all he wanted was to get the hell out of that elevator. As time ticked by, the curly-haired guy grew increasingly anxious. Noticing this, an older woman standing behind him handed him a bottle of vodka to take the edge off. After chugging a huge gulp, his racing heart finally slowed down a bit. To kill time while waiting for rescue, the group started making small talk. That's when the old man took the floor, announcing that he would be retiring at the end of the month. He even bragged about his $7.5 million pension, not to mention a massive monthly allowance. The crowd in the elevator was green with envy, but out of nowhere, the older woman in the back snapped. She publicly exposed the old man's ugly past right then and there. It turned out her husband used to be an investor in this very company. Even though the company raked in billions every year, the old man had intentionally pushed garbage stocks on her husband, eventually driving him to bankruptcy and suicide. Meanwhile, the old man used those dirty tactics to live the high life and was now about to enjoy his golden years with a fat pension. The woman grew more and more hysterical, her eyes filled with resentment and rage. Instead of showing an ounce of remorse, the old man kept making excuses for himself, arguing that investing always comes with risks and telling her to move on. Hearing this, the woman was so blinded by fury that her vision went black and she collapsed to the floor. The crowd rushed over to help her. Only then did they realize she was having a massive heart attack. A chubby guy instinctively dialed 911, but it was already too late. However, the woman's final words sent a collective shiver down everyone's spine.
I have a bomb.
To avenge her husband, she had strapped a time bomb to her body. She had originally planned to storm into the old man's office for a murder-suicide, but as fate would have it, she ended up in the same elevator and got trapped here with him. Seeing her revenge within arm's reach, the woman took her final breath with a satisfied smile. This completely terrified everyone inside. They frantically began brainstorming a way out. The chubby guy called the police again, begging them to hurry up, while a dark-haired woman pulled out her phone and started live streaming, thinking this was going to be a viral breaking news story. The old man, however, brushed it off, refusing to believe a lady with one foot in the grave could actually have a time bomb. Although everyone was skeptical, nobody dared to step up and check the bomb for themselves. Just as they were arguing back and forth, a pregnant blonde woman volunteered. Fighting through her sheer terror, she knelt down and cautiously approached the body to inspect it. Everyone's hearts leaped into their throats, praying that the old lady's words were just a sick joke. But as the blonde slowly lifted the woman's shirt, a time bomb, tightly secured to her waist with steel wires, stared right back at them. The crowd lost their minds. Even the dark-haired woman live streaming was so terrified that she instantly shut off her broadcast. Desperate to survive, everyone started scrambling for an escape plan. Someone tried to break through the ceiling of the elevator, but it was locked tight from the outside. With no other options, they pulled their strength to pry open the elevator doors, hoping to escape. To their dismay, they were greeted by a pitch-black concrete wall. Luckily, there was a small opening near the top of the wall. Seeing this, a man in a business suit immediately came up with a plan. Without hesitation, he climbed onto a coworker's back and slowly hoisted himself toward the opening, aiming to reach out and press the elevator button on the outside wall. Unfortunately, his arms weren't long enough, and no matter how much he stretched, he couldn't reach it. Just when they were at their wits' end, the dark-haired woman spotted the old lady's cane. With the extra reach from the cane, they were bound to succeed this time. Once again, the group pried the doors open, pinning all their hopes on the man in the suit. But just as the cane was about to touch the button, that little brat started acting up again, frantically mashing the closed door button inside the elevator.